Let's go Eagles. I don't know about you, but I'm counting down the hours until the season kicks off. I know we've still got a few months to go, but my green and white heart is already pounding with excitement. Our team is looking sharp and ready to soar high. Today, I need to talk about a few important topics that have been buzzing behind the scenes at the Eagles, and man, there's a lot about to happen moving forward. I'll fill you in on everything I've heard, but before I get into the details, make sure you've hit that like button, but only do it if you've been an Eagles fan for over 19 years. It's amazing to see fans of all ages here. Some of you were at the games back in the 70s, and that's just incredible. Maximum respect to all of you. If you can, drop a comment like this. Go Birds! My heart bleeds green and white. Let's fly higher. Now, let's kick things off with this piece of news. Let's dive right into what's really happening behind closed doors at the NovaCare complex as we inch closer to mandatory minicamp. The Philadelphia Eagles just wrapped up their OTA sessions, and what we're hearing and seeing is giving us major insights into what this team might look like heading into the 2025 season. No fluff, no assumptions. Everything I'm sharing with you comes straight from what's happening on the field, from credible voices inside the building, and through eyes watching every rep. Let's start with the leader of this team, Jalen Hurts. If you were worried that a new offensive coordinator might throw Hurts off his rhythm, don't be. In fact, it's the opposite. Hurts has been absolutely dialed in. With Kevin Patullo stepping in as his sixth offensive coordinator since 2020, you might expect some hiccups, but instead, Hurts is thriving. His numbers in the 2 open OTA practices are jaw-dropping, 35 completions on 38 attempts. That's surgical accuracy. What's more impressive, he's doing this without A.J. Brown or DeVonta Smith on the field. Both wideouts weren't present. It's worth remembering these workouts are voluntary, but Hurts didn't flinch. His decisiveness, timing, and command of the offense are leaps beyond what we saw in his rookie days, where he was sometimes hesitant, holding onto the ball too long and lacking that snap in his decision-making. Now, even with yet another OC change, he's delivering footballs that barely touch the ground. He's mastered this system quicker than expected, and that should fire up every single Eagles fan watching this. Now let's talk about one of the most hyped additions to the team, Saquon Barkley. After leading the league in touches last year, there were legitimate concerns about whether the 28-year-old running back might be worn down. The answer from OTA performances? Absolutely not. Barkley looks fresh, explosive, and sharp. He's cutting hard, bursting through gaps with speed, and turning heads. Offensive coordinator Kevin Patullo himself admitted he was shocked at how fresh Barkley looked. And if you're wondering how Barkley feels about the infamous Madden curse after landing the cover of Madden 26, he's not fazed. In his own words, he said he doesn't believe in curses because he believes in God. That's the mindset of a player on a mission. Let's not forget Jeremiah Trotter Jr., or as we're all starting to call him, Axeman Jr. The linebacker has been making the most of his reps, especially with Nakobe Dean and Jair Brown sidelined due to injury. With Dean recovering from patellar tendon surgery and Campbell dealing with a labrum issue, Trotter has stepped in as a first-team inside linebacker alongside Zach Bond. And he's not just filling in, he's showing he belongs. This guy may not have the eye-popping athletic testing numbers from the combine, but what he brings to the table is pure football IQ, instincts, awareness, being in the right place at the right time. These are things that don't show up on spreadsheets but win you football games in January. Last year, when he finally got some real playing time toward the end of the season, he didn't just hold his own, he flashed. And now, with opportunity knocking, he's barging right through the door. Then there's Jordan Davis. This is the year Big JD was supposed to take that next step, and based on what we're seeing and hearing, he's finally ready. Weight and conditioning have always been part of the conversation with Davis since his Georgia days. When he entered the league, the question was whether he'd be a 2-down guy or could develop into a full 3-down lineman. That question may finally be getting answered. Vic Fangio, the new defensive coordinator, says Davis is in the best shape of his career. He's dropped weight, taken to Peloton training seriously, and is turning heads with his conditioning and stamina. The Eagles just picked up his 5th-year option, locking him in through 2026. And that move speaks volumes. The front office believes his breakout is coming. Don't forget, in last year's playoffs, Davis was a force. An 86.8 overall PFF grade, a 90 pass rush grade, 3rd among all DTs, and a very respectable 64.9 run defense grade. He was disruptive, he was dominant, and now they're asking him to do even more with Milton Williams no longer in the mix. Last but not least, let's talk quarterbacks again. Not Hurts this time, but Tanner McKee. Yes, the Eagles believe he's that good. He's not just a backup filling a roster spot. He's being groomed as a legit option if things go sideways. Remember, the Eagles moved on from Kenny Pickett, not because they had to, but because they trust McKee. This 6 feet 6 inches signal caller has shown during OTAs that he's decisive, accurate, and throws with real touch, especially on boundary throws. The staff is high on him, and when he got the start against the Giants in Week 18, playing against starters while the Eagles ran backups, he didn't just survive, he looked like he belonged. The question isn't whether he'll make the team, it's whether he'll push to be the best backup QB in the NFL, or eventually, a starter elsewhere. These are the stories developing at OTAs, not rumors, not speculation. These are the players making statements with their play. The atmosphere is serious. The competition is intense. The expectations? Nothing short of a Super Bowl. But here's what I want to know from you, and this is important. Which of these players do you believe will make the biggest leap this year? Could it be Jalen Hurts locking in that MVP? Saquon finally staying healthy and dominating in midnight green? Or maybe Jordan Davis taking over the trenches? One name we absolutely need to talk about in more depth is Jeremiah Trotter Jr. What's happening here might not be making national headlines yet, but the story brewing is straight out of a football fairy tale. The son of an Eagles legend is quietly, or not so quietly, earning the trust of the coaching staff and putting himself in a position to become a vital piece of this defense. This isn't just a legacy situation. Trotter Jr. is putting in the work, showing the instincts, and executing like a pro. During OTAs, he's taken every single first-team rep at off-ball linebacker. Not some reps, not situational. All of them. Now consider the context. Nakobe Dean, expected to be the defensive quarterback of this unit, is out. Jair Campbell, another promising piece, is sidelined. That creates a void that some thought would simply be filled by default. But what we're seeing is Trotter Jr. not just filling space, he's commanding it. He's diagnosing plays, reading quarterback progressions, sniffing out screens, and he's doing it all without fanfare. It's not flashy, it's just effective. Remember, he came into the league with questions about size and speed. But anyone who watched him at Clemson knew the kid could play. He's showing now that intelligence, feel for the game, and anticipation can sometimes outweigh pure athletic metrics. That kind of talent, paired with a chip on his shoulder and the Trotter name across the back of his jersey, could spark something special. The city of Philadelphia would love nothing more than to see a Trotter flying around the field again, and the early signs point to that becoming a reality. Now shifting to a guy whose progression might make or break this defensive front, Jordan Davis. The Eagles betting on Davis with that fifth-year option wasn't just about locking in cost certainty. It was a loud and clear message. We believe in you. And Davis is responding. It's not just about being in better shape. It's about what that shape allows him to do. He's quicker off the snap. He's lasting longer in team drills. His stamina is finally catching up to his freakish frame. And with Milton Williams now gone, there's no safety net. This is Davis's defensive line now. He's expected to not only clog up the middle but to generate pressure consistently, something that was a limitation earlier in his career. With a 90.0 pass rush grade in the playoffs last year, Davis is starting to realize that he can be more than just a two-down run stopper. He can disrupt pockets. He can collapse interior protection. He can read game plans. Vic Fangio, a man known for maximizing defensive talent, sees something. You can tell.